Robert Ironside has taught thousands of students and some great colleagues about the time value of money. Even so, he is still a bit amazed by the tremendous wealth you can create by investing small amounts of your hard-earned bucks over long periods of time. That is one reason he and chartered accountant Edwin O. Young put together a guide called The One Financial Habit That Could Change Your Life. It is my pleasure to welcome Robert Ironside to Studio 4 to tell us more.
Thank you very much.
So only one financial habit, really?
Well, there's one primary financial habit.
Okay.
And now, do you want me to talk about what that is? Should we start off with that?
Or should we wait a minute?
We can wait a minute.
Well, I gave it away a little bit in the introduction, saying it's about the time value of money. So what does that mean?
Okay. Excellent question. The time value of money simply says that $1 to be received today is worth more than $1 that you're going to receive in the future. Now, why is $1 today worth more than $1 to be received in the future? If I have that dollar today, I'm able to invest it. I earn a positive rate of return on it. So in order to equate some amount of money in the future to what I have today, I need more out in the future than what I have today. This is a concept that we refer to as the time value of money. It runs through all of finance. It is the fundamental building block of so much of what we do in the world of finance.
And you think the Warren Buffetts and the Donald Trumps and the Jimmy Pattesons adhere to this?
Absolutely, they do. They've nailed it.
They sure have. They've nailed something.
They certainly have. They deeply understand the time value of money. Very interesting. I do a number of MBA programs for Bank of Montreal, and the CEO would typically come in and talk about, just whatever to the class.
Sure.
Well, often he would come in and spend 10 minutes talking about the criticality of knowing and understanding the time value of money, that there was no concept more important for these guys to understand and to deeply understand than the time value of money.
Sure. So when I'm sleeping in my little bed, my money is growing somewhere. It's compounding. Something's happening to it.
That's right, as long as you're a lender. And of course, that's the whole point, that if we are a borrower, then the time value of money is working for somebody else, not for us. So that's the key. If we want our wealth to grow, we have to be a lender. We have to be the one for whom the time value of money is working for, not working against.
Okay, so on your list of should have now, say you're a student.
Yes.
And on your list of should have now, start the RRSP early, later, or not at all?
Okay, very good question. In fact, I'm going to say start the TFSA now. And there's a really good reason for that.
Okay, the tax-free savings account.
The tax-free savings account, yes. If you put your money into the RRSP today, the major benefit is you get a tax deferral today. So you get to put before tax money into the RRSP.
Right.
But when that money comes out in the future, it's going to come out fully taxable. As a student, you're in a very low to zero marginal tax bracket. So you get no benefit today, but when the money comes out, you're heavily taxed.
Sure, and you could be a millionaire by then, or a 2 millionaire, or something like that.
Right.
So what you're saying is you don't need the tax write-off.
You don't need the tax write-off. The tax write-off isn't going to do any, it won't provide any value for you. So take that same amount of money, put it into your TFSA. Now it gets to grow tax-free, exactly the same as in the RRSP.
And you can play with the money, you can bring it in, take it out?
You can, and it comes out whenever, totally tax-free. Because it went in as after-tax money, then it gets to come out free of tax as well. It's a massive, massive difference. If you're putting your money in, if you're a 20-year-old student, you're putting your money in today, it's going to grow for 45 years. Then that money is going to have grown many, many times. When it comes out, you're going to give up a good chunk of that to tax if it's in the RRSP.
Exactly.
If it's in the TFSA, you get to keep it all.
And the TFSA has limits, I'm sure. You put how much in?
Yes, it does. $5,000 a year. That $5,000 accumulates, so if I don't put it in this year, I get to put it in next year.
Great. So we can put in 15,000 or something like that.
That is absolutely correct. Now, one thing
Why not?
Well, and absolutely, I want people doing that. I want people putting in everything they possibly can. And we have to talk about time. Time is so critical. For every year that we wait, then the amount of money that we have to save in order to achieve a certain level of retirement wealth. I call it terminal wealth.
Sure.
But that kind of maybe has a bad connotation, but that...
life is a terminal illness.
That's true. So in order to get to a certain amount of retirement wealth, then for every year we wait, the amount we have to save goes up so dramatically. And I can tell you a little story if I've...
Sure.
Can I tell you a little story?
Of course.
This actually came up, I had a student, one of my prior lives, I was teaching finance at the University of Lethbridge. One of my students was doing a joint degree in education and business. And she asked if I could come out and talk to her grade 10 students about finance. So what do you talk to a group of 15-year-olds about finance that's going to actually keep them in the room? So I came up with a little example. I suggested that you guys go and work, make $1,000 a year, which you are just going to save for the next 5 years. Okay. Then we're just going to leave that money to grow and invest until we turn 65. We're going to compare that to the teacher, who was then 25, who was going to start saving. So the students would have saved for 5 years. The teacher would have saved $1,000 a year for 45 years. 40 years, not 45. 40 years. Who ends up with more money? The students who saved $5,000 or the teacher who saved $40,000? The only difference being that the teacher waited 10 years to start saving money.
I think you're going to tell me it's the students who have more money,
and it absolutely is the students who have more money.
So the time value of money.
The time value of money.
What if you are in debt? You've got a mortgage and it's not paid, or you owe a lot of credit card debt. Should you still invest in like a tax-free savings or something like that?
Now, what I do suggest is that you should have an emergency fund.
Right.
That's one of the most critical things that we can have. We also need to take care of that debt. We have to get out of that debt as quickly as possible. We've got to start by paying off our highest cost debt first, and then we work our way down. So you get rid of those credit cards, particularly the ones from the department stores. All of these things are going to charge you close to 30% interest.
So pay attention to that. If you can't pay it off every month, don't do it.
Don't do it. Just don't do it. Just say no.
What about low-rate visas? Or, you know, they say, I'll give you a deal for you.
That's right. The teaser rates, if you were really, really disciplined, you might be able to use some of those teaser rates, get some low-interest financing while you are getting that your balance paid down really quickly. If you're not disciplined, then they're just going to cause more problems.
Exactly, and in a plastic society, which we certainly are, you have to think about discipline first and foremost. So get an American Express, they make you pay it off.
Yes, yes, that is right.
If you can get an American Express with no credit, if you're a kid.
That's right.
I doubt you can. Who knows?
And you know what? I don't know either, but it
right.
but
it
would
probably
be good.
Ask some questions.
The problem is that we live in a culture of consumerism, of instant gratification, where kids grow up believing they have a right to have it all and to have it all right now. And you know, this extends way beyond our kids. Our adults are doing the same thing, aren't they? That's what got the world into trouble.
See, it seems so easy when you just give them the card. It seems like God pays.
There's a disconnect, isn't there, between that cash in our pocket and this thing
not
that
your
I
bank card, but that other one, that gold one.
That's right. It's just cha-ching.
Why not?
Cha-ching. I get all these cool things. There's a real disconnect, though, that I have to pay for this at some point.
Exactly, but the disconnect also is don't live life on the layaway plan. You could die tomorrow, get hit by the bus. Just go for it.
That's absolutely
right. Okay, I know you have to get out of that thought pattern. The one financial habit that could change your life, Robert Ironside, our guest. We'll come back.